Or what's up, guys? So if you see my ranking video, you do know that I plan on reviewing, well, re-reviewing Captain America: Brave New World. So in this video, I will be doing that. I'm gonna be reviewing the movie and also giving like my takes on what I think could have made the movie just a little bit better. So the movie overall, I'll admit I was biased at first because of my theater experience watching it. You know how sometimes when you watch a movie in theaters, it makes the movie seem better than it is. I had that experience for Captain America: Brave New World. When I watched it in theaters, I gave it like I think a 8, and then when it came out on Blu-ray, I ended up giving it like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. I really disliked it. Like Joaquin becoming Falcon. That did not feel earned. That felt so rushed because the only setup we got for him becoming Falcon was that scene in The Falcon and Winter Soldier when Sam gave him the wings and told him to keep them because they were destroyed. I understand this takes place, I think, 2 years after Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they could have set that up a little bit more. In my opinion, they could have waited for Joaquin to become Falcon until the end of the movie during the dogfight scene. Basically, just have Joaquin begging Sam to let him go out on the field, but Sam's telling him he's not ready. Therefore, when Sam does let him out on the field and he gets hurt, Sam feels responsible. I feel like that could have been just a little bit better. But the overall movie, there was a lot of cringy dialogue. There was also like on the nose dialogue. The best way I could explain that is like if you didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, there was like cheesy on the nose dialogue that basically fills you in on what happened so you won't be confused. Like this dialogue right here.
It's Isaiah Bradley. The the Isaiah Bradley. You brought me to the Forgotten Camp. Why didn't you say something? Your missions in Korea are legendary. And what? And after that, no action?
The United States government threw me in prison for 30 years. They experimented on me for decades.
To me, that didn't really work. That sounded just, I don't know, weird. Then you also have this like Secret Service lady who's clearly close with Sam, and she came out of nowhere. I feel like that character, or even that the other character, her, I would have replaced both of these characters with Sharon, because we know Sharon, we've seen Sharon. We had an end credit scene in The Falcon and the Soldier with Sharon, which went nowhere till this day. So I feel like you could have just added Sharon in there. In my opinion, that would have worked. Even when it comes to like the marketing of this movie, because during Captain America: Brave New World's Comic-Con, they revealed the leader. So everyone knew he was going to be in the movie, but they kept him a secret. But they revealed Red Hawk. I would have flipped it because we haven't seen the leader in like 20 years. He debuted in 2008's Incredible Hulk, and we haven't seen him since. So why are you keeping this a secret? Half of the people aren't even going to remember him. They should have kept Red Hulk a secret. That would have been a surprise. And even when it comes to Red Hulk, he was cool, but everything we've seen of him in the trailer is what we got in the movie. But when it comes to Thunderbolt Ross ending up being in the raft, me personally, I would have killed him. The whole reason he's taking these pills that turned him into the Red Hulk was because he was having heart problems. So if he's taking these heart pills and then he becomes the Red Hulk, for me personally, I'm thinking that that's grounds for a heart attack. So if I was doing the movie, I would have gave Thunderbolt Ross a heart attack and not have Sam talk him down, because I felt like that to be like kind of stupid. Instead of Sam talking him down, I would have had Red Hulk damn near about to kill Sam, but right before he's about to kill him, he has a heart attack and dies. Or maybe during the fight, I would have had Sam figure out that the madder Red Hulk gets, he could burn him out. So Sam is just taunting Red Hulk, basically playing a game of Catch Me If You Can, and Red Hulk gets so mad that he burns himself out, has a heart attack, and dies. Therefore, that's how you get rid of Thunderbolt Ross, considering William Hurt did die. Harrison Ford is old as hell. You're gonna have to end up recasting him as well, because it's gonna get to a point where Harrison Ford can't act anymore because he's so old. So I feel like that was a way to get rid of that character so you won't have to worry about potentially recasting him again. Then we also have Sam has an army guy friend who he had studying the pills. I would have turned his character into Bruce Banner. That would have worked a little bit better. Then we have Isaiah Bradley's character. His whole arc was basically being in prison again, which I didn't like. I would have left him as a mentor kind of character. Basically, after Harrison Ford tells Sam, "You're not Steve Rogers," Sam would have been like, "Oh, all right, okay." Take a step back and basically have nothing to do. So he decides to go to Philadelphia, talk to Isaiah, tell him what's happening, checking in on him. And Isaiah tells him, like, "You're really gonna let Ross bitch you like that? You're really gonna be that kind of Captain America?" And that's when Sam decides, "I'm gonna do what I know is right in my heart," which in my opinion also would have proved that he is the right man for the Shield. Because in my opinion, they haven't showed that yet. Don't get me wrong, if Steve was gonna choose anyone to get the Shield, Sam was the right guy. But they haven't done enough with this character yet for that to feel earned. Hopefully, the Russo brothers and Avengers Doomsday can, but I would have had that be Isaiah's arc rather than being in prison again. And even as his nephew, instead of having the end scene that sets up Secret Wars, because Secret Wars doesn't come out until 2027, 2028, so I don't know why we're having a end scene that sets that up now. The end scene I would have put in is Isaiah Bradley's nephew becoming Patriot for the Young Avengers. Sort of how in the Marvel's end credit scene was Kamala Khan recruiting Kate Bishop for the Young Avengers. In my opinion, that would have worked out. Like an end credit scene of Isaiah Bradley's nephew just going through Isaiah Bradley's closet looking for something and he ends up finding the Patriot shield. That would have been a cool end scene that sets up Young Avengers. But God knows when that's coming out. Now, my overall problem with Captain America Brave New World is Sam. Because in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he had this arc of feeling like a black man cannot be Captain America. And during his speech, he said,
"You just don't understand. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Every time I pick this thing up, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. Even now, here, I feel it. The stares, the judgment. And there's nothing I can do to change it. Yet I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better."
I feel like they should have played on that. They should have had America be like divided, not thinking Sam's the right guy to be Captain America, saying basically John Walker wasn't wrong to do what he did, yada yada, and basically have Ross side with them. That's why he's benching Sam, because of public opinion, because he wants the vote. Therefore, when Joaquin gets hurt and they're in the hospital and they're talking and Sam says this,
"You're always on point. Because if I'm not on point, I feel like I let down everyone else who's fighting for a seat at that table. That's pressure, man. It weighs on you. Makes you wonder if you'll ever just be enough."
that would have felt earned because America does not like him. So he has to fight for this country that doesn't even accept him every day. So therefore, Sam saying he knows what it's like to try to sit at a table and to feel like he's enough, that would have felt earned. But instead, they decided to basically have America love him, have people paying his tabs. He has his own room and it has like a big star in the window. Like, I didn't like that. Even like John Esposito's character, I believe his name is, kind of like cringy, kind of useless. Now, like I said, the changes I would have made this movie just a little bit better because like, the Falcon and Winter Soldier handled the whole race arc perfectly. You know, like I'll admit, I used to think that that arc was pretty pointless because they never touched on racism before in the MCU. That's basically thinking the world's black and white in a pretty much ignorant way of thinking. Because that's like thinking, just because I've never experienced racism or racial profiling or whatever, that means it doesn't exist. No, that's the ignorant way of thinking. Just because the MCU has never touched on racism before doesn't mean it didn't exist. And after giving it a rewatch, they handled it perfectly. And I only wish that Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't the only time they touched on this. I feel like considering that was a part of Sam's arc to becoming Captain America, it needs to stay in his arc, at least for a little while. But yeah, that's my Captain America Brave New World review and things that I would have done better. Let me know what you thought of Captain America Brave New World down in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.